remember if this was the second warden when I was there or the third warden. But what they did was some of the stupidest stuff I've ever witnessed in my life. Hello and welcome to another video. A video about my life. Autobiography, I believe they call it. Like and subscribe. Hey, yes, like and subscribe. Hey, so today's video is about the prison years again. So I don't exactly know the entire history of the camp of Nellis, but I know some of the history. So the way it was laid out was there was like C, the letter C shaped buildings, and there was 4 of them all facing a center strip, and then there's the chow hall at one end, and behind the chow hall there's like the gym, and then over off to one side was the theater, and then down the opposite direction was some other random buildings. So out of those 4 C-shaped buildings, one of them was gone, right? So I think what the deal was is the Air Force hadn't used this, and it was the Navy's place that they would stay when they were training with the Air Force. That's what this whole area was for. But I think they hadn't used it in forever, and it was built forever ago, and it just got run down. So then they came up with this this whole putting prisons on Air Force bases concept. When they did that, the prison looked at what they had to do to remodel all those buildings, but they didn't want to put that many prisoners there, so they actually demolished one building. So there was a void in one of those spots that used to be a regular building like the other 3 that were actually there. Okay, so what the deal was is there was a little building right where that other building stood, and the story on that building was that there was nothing there, and the prisoners got together, and through requests and such, and then through the prisoners volunteering, the prisoners built a recreation building for the barbershop, for the workout machines, you know, like treadmills and stair stepper type machines, a music room. Those were the 3 things. Now, this was not the BOP saying, okay, hey, we want to do this. Quite the contrary. This is the prisoners saying, you know, we'd like these things, and there's really nowhere else to put them. We'll build it if you'll pay for it. Okay. So they build it before I even got there. This is all before me. I get there, and that's the way it is. I used to go in there and do the stair stepper. I really didn't get into the music when it was in that building. So what happened is that one of the new wardens, now I don't remember if this was the second warden when I was there or the third warden, but what they did was some of the stupidest stuff I've ever witnessed in my life. So they wanted that building for the staff. They wanted to put the staff in there. So they took it away from the prisoners, and what they did instead was open up the basement of the chow hall for the music room, and then they put the workout stuff in the gym, I think. And then I don't remember what they did with the barbershop. I wasn't big in I'm a long-haired dude, so I don't have a lot to do with the barbershop. Now they've opened up this whole downstairs, which is like the concept of the BOP, whoever in the BOP came up with this idea, who knows, was that by having guards in that thing out on the yard where the guards, because normally, like before, the guards were just in what they called the bubble, which was in one of the dorms downstairs, this reinforced room, and the guards would go in there. If they had to count, they'd go out. If they had to do a walk, they'd go out, and then they'd go there. So this warden thought that the whole key to everything, this must be in the third warden then, because she was just a fucking retard. So she, but I could be wrong. I'm not 100% on that. I'm 100% on she's a retard. But I'm not 100% that she's the warden that changed that. But basically what they did was they're thinking they're gonna up the security by having the guards in this thing. But they fucking opened up this like labyrinth of underneath. I mean, it was literally like giving the kids the key to the candy store. So you gotta realize like how really crazy this prison got at some point. So these were like 3-level buildings. So there was a basement, and then there was 2 stories. Those are the dorms, right? So downstairs in the basement, there wasn't 100% utilization of all those rooms. So there was 0 people living down there, because you can't have people living like that. So the laundry was down there, pool tables were down there, the leather was down there. Well, some of these ballin' Mexican dudes, which technically they were all American, because you really couldn't be, you had to have American citizenship to be in a camp. You couldn't be a foreigner and be in a camp. But they all identify, you know, a lot of them broken English, but they have citizenship, so they're golden. They were able to smuggle into this camp. They had like gotten themselves into one of these rooms that wasn't being used. So it was a locked door. They got somehow through the locked door, and they took over this room, and they filled it up with like DVDs, CDs, CD players, ice chest. What do they call those fucking things? Igloo-like things, right? And they had like Mexican style, like chorizo and hog's head, and you know, like all this Mexican delicacies, Mexican music, Mexican videos, Mexican magazines. So it was like pretty obvious who, I mean, I think they even had alcohol in there too, right? When they finally busted it. So, and you know, that was one of the things that kind of made them go, holy cow, you know, like, because the people were literally just like getting like carloads of stuff delivered right up to the camp. Like this one black dude that I used to work with, and we kicked it, got stoned a bunch together. What the fuck was his name? Big dude. Anyway, his brother had been in some military service at some point, right? But he was already out, but he still had his credentials, and he was still able to get on to any military base with no problem, even after 9/11, for a while. So this black dude, he was slinging nugs on the yard, And for a grip, yeah, I don't even think he ever got in trouble and busted. I think he got away with it the whole time, which is awesome. But man, weed was so expensive. I mean, like $10 would get you like a quarter gram or something. But my tolerance was very low at that time too. I mean, I could take a hit of weed and I'd hold it until there was zero smoke coming out. Like, talk about conservation with weed. You did not even blow out smoke. You would only take a hit big enough that you could hold the whole thing in and keep it in the whole time until you didn't breathe a thing out, because that breathing a thing out was considered waste, right? And we had these pretty badass little pipes. There was a pen that was a common pen that we could get, and you'd take off the pen tip, and it was basically a little funnel, a little miniature funnel, that then you'd take a toilet paper roll, and you'd put a little hole in the toilet paper roll, and you'd put that little pen tip down in that hole, and it would hold a perfect amount of weed where you could just smoke that weed perfectly, one hit, and then just ash it. There'd be no ash left. Hold it till there was no smoke left. Yeah, those little toilet paper freaking steamroller, basically, those things were pretty awesome. It was actually a good hit. And you know, I don't know what kind of bullshit they put in toilet paper roll cardboard, but that was probably not good for me. Or the metal that was used in that pen tip, you know. So anyway, yeah, so boy, I got sidetracked on this story. I think I pretty much wrapped up the story I started telling about, though. I mean, when the staff took that shack over, and they unlocked, and now the stories of the downstairs are coming up. So the things that were going on in that downstairs were just, and I'm not talking about just like the time that I was in the prison band and down there singing and doing the whole, yeah, me singing, huh? Right. That's why they only let me do 2 songs, you know. It's like you only can hear a cat's nails go across a chalkboard for so much time before you just want to kill yourself, right? So, me singing equals cat's claws on chalkboards. So, I remember a few of the black guys' names that I was friends with. This one guy from Vegas, his name was Baby J. Baby J was, I think he liked PCP. That was his thing. I worked with him on this one crew. Rolls Royce, Donnie, Voodoo, but mostly I'd hang out with my buddy John and Larry and Daryl. Daryl was a freaking guitarist that was just amazing. Like, that was his thing on the streets. He was a musician, and he would literally play guitar and do meth. That's what he was in for, meth. And that guy, Daryl and Larry, those fuckers, they were on meth for like 2 years or a year and a half there at fucking Nellis. The shit was so crazy that they were able to be on meth. Which, honestly, I couldn't even tell the difference. They acted identically the same. You didn't even know that they were... Some people's chemistry is just geared for different shit. So, yeah, good old Larry and Daryl. I've told enough story today. There's been a little sprinkling of a bunch of little stories in there. But I've set myself up now for some stories that you really have to have the layout of the prison down, and you have to have kind of the understanding of kind of the politics. So I've laid the foundation now for a whole string of other stories. So like and subscribe and come back and have a good day.